What's up, Zombie Talk 123? I haven't made a video in a while. There's been a lot of little signings, a few little trades here, and I just want to make this video before the winter meetings. I've been really busy, but I'm very excited for the winter meetings, prepping up for that. And I'll be following it all day, school tomorrow, and all week. Every minute there's going to be something happen usually. So I'm very excited about that. Counting down the last few hours before the winter meetings start as teams and free agents arrived in Dallas today, or not Dallas, somewhere in Texas. So it might have been Dallas actually. But a deal that just happened that is actually one of the biggest offseason deal so far is the fact that Jose Reyes has signed a 6-year, $106 million deal with the Marlins. This deal is only pending a physical at this point. There's going to be an option year for a 7th year, I believe, for $25 million and a $5 million buy. There's not a no trade clause in this, so he will be able to be traded. And I think at some point, if he's in this prime and the Marlins are losing, they will trade him, get maximum value for him. You see a lot of teams, we've seen the Marlins go absolutely all out this offseason, offering a contract to Albert Pujols, offering to Jose Reyes, offering to Mark Burley, offering to C.J. Wilson, offering to Ryan Madson, and then they're deeply scouting Cepedas, the Cuban center fielder. So, they are looking at every option there. And at the beginning of the offseason, I could see them getting Pujols, but I thought it'd be smarter for them to get Cepedas and Reyes and maybe a pitcher instead of go the route of just like Albert Pujols and Mark Burley. It looks as though they probably will end up getting Mark Burley. So if they do, it will be getting Mark Burley, getting Heath Bell, who they signed a 3-year, $27 million, which compared to some of these other deals with these closers, that is a very good value. I know Heath Bell is a little older than Jonathan Papelbon, but I would honestly, if you're trying to restrain your budget, I would rather spend less than $10 million a year, spend $9 million a year than what Phillies paid for Jonathan Papelbon. That was a huge deal. But the Marlins didn't get him like supposedly cheap, but they got a pretty good deal for Heath Bell, and that's really important getting that closer since their last closer they had problems with whether he was, had the actual name and the citizen and all that thing. So Leo Nunez wasn't an actual name. I don't know. There's a lot of problems. So getting Heath Bell was huge for them, getting that veteran presence and closer role. Then you have Jose Reyes now is absolutely amazing. I mean, Hanley Ramirez, the problem is he had a bad year last year, we understand, but he's still so talented. Whether they're able to trade him, now would not be the right time. His value is at the lowest it's ever been. If he plays next year and they move him to either third base or center field are the two options, I would probably say center field because they have a top prospect coming up at third base. But then it makes guys like Chris Coughlin available for trade. I don't know. The Marlins really have some opportunity to move some things around here, whether they move Hanley Ramirez, whether they move him and trade someone else, whether they go out and sign Mark Burley. And because right now they've almost put in $30 million of commitments, and the winter meetings haven't started. And I'm glad they got him before the winter meeting started, but no team has gone over $100 million on him. I think that they could have probably gotten Jose Reyes for maybe even a little cheaper than they did. But I think they want to make sure in a bold statement that they get him kind of like what the Nationals did with Jason Worth last year. I do think $106 million, I think if they would have just won $100 million, they probably still would have got him. But there maybe would have been one or two more teams really pushing at it for that price. But the Mets were in the running, and then once they heard they went over $100 million, they got out of the bidding. They were only willing to go 5 years and around $75, $80 million. They weren't sure about that 6th year, and they weren't sure, definitely not over $100 million. And for him to have this deal done, I'm excited for him. I guess he was going to be a Marlin, not like in prediction-wise before the offseason started. But when the Marlins started definitely pushing these free agents, I don't care if they have Jose Reyes there in the past. Hanley Ramirez. Jose is going to be shortstop in the Marlins. He loved Miami. You could see a young player, Dominican player, would love to go to Miami as they're building this awesome team, new stadium, all these new things, and maybe the possibility, they're going after all these top free agents. You're going to go there to a different team that they were in 2011. And, you got Mike Stanton on the team still, Josh Johnson coming back. You have Jose Reyes now, Hanley Ramirez, Gabby Sanchez. If they sign Albert Pujols, they'll have a very valuable Gabby Sanchez in the trade market there. They got some prospects coming up. They have Logan Morrison. And then you sign Heath Bell. They're really stabilizing different areas. And then you'll probably look for them to go after Mark Burley. And if they don't, oh my God. How much gayer could you get? If you don't, sorry, that's my brother. If they don't get Mark Burley, then you're gonna look for them to. I don't see them getting C.J. Wilson. I think he's too expensive, and I'm really not worth it at this point. We're gonna see there's certain trade candidates on their team that they've been around for a few years. Chris Volstad is definitely a trade candidate. Actually, he might be a non-tender candidate too. There's certain guys that have been around for a while, and I think that they have a reasonable salary that some teams would definitely pick up as a 3-4 starter, and we'll see what the Marlins do the rest of the season. But again, they've been one of the most aggressive teams this season. We'll see how they do in 2012. It's going to be very interesting to see new ballpark. They get about $50 million to spend this year, and they've only spent $20 more million. They could fit Pujols in their payroll. They could, because I think that they've pretty much just fit it where you put Jose Reyes and Heath Bell new salary, and then you plus Albert's projected salary. I think that they could get a deal done and still fit all three of those guys in their payroll: Heath Bell, Jose Reyes, and Albert Pujols, which would be an incredible offseason. Would be like Boston's offseason last year. But considering the Marlins' low payroll in the past is even more surprising, and it'd be even more surprising seeing Albert Pujols leave to go to Miami. I'd be interested if Albert pulls a LeBron went to Miami. Albert could go to Miami. What's not to like about Miami? A new team, pretty much. Organization changing a lot of things around, getting a new stadium, new logo, getting some new players in here, getting Jose Reyes. They might end up having to trade Hanley Ramirez, and he wasn't that great team morale-wise either. He was not that hard of a worker. So maybe if they trade him or just switch him to a position, center field, you could trade Chris Coughlin. If they sign Albert, they could trade Gabby Sanchez. They could try to get more of another ace on their team. They could get some pitching prospects for Gabby Sanchez and Chris Coughlin for sure, and we'll see how they do from there. But I mean, this team looks a hell of a lot better than it does start of the offseason. They've definitely made some splashes, and getting Jose Reyes, he's projected to make around $18 million a year, which that's right where Matt Holliday's making per year. So I mean, you can pick your poison. Who do you want, Jose Reyes or Matt Holliday? Jose Reyes is younger at this point. He has more speed. He just won a batting title, which people were kind of angry about. He bunted, got a single, pulled himself out of the game. But I mean, he stole some bases last year, not as much as he usually does. But he had 2 injuries, hamstring injuries, and he still got enough plate appearance and won the batting title. So this is a guy that is definitely worth a contract like this. And it's interesting to see how high the Marlins went up, and I'm excited for the Marlins organization. Jose Reyes, thanks for watching Zombie Talk 123. As the Florida Marlins have acquired Jose Reyes tonight, signing him to a 5-year, 6-year, $106 million deal with a 7th-year option worth $25 million and 5-year, $5 million buyout. All right, thanks for watching again. Zombie Talk 123. Prepare for the winter meetings tomorrow. It is going to be awesome. What to expect? I don't want to keep making this video even longer than it is, making predictions, so it's going to be a surprise. That's all I got to say. All right, thanks for watching Zombie Talk 123.